Welcome back to XRP Insider, everyone. Today's crypto market is heating up once again, and traders everywhere are asking one massive question right now. What is the best crypto to buy now before the next major breakout begins? We are seeing fresh momentum return across the digital asset space after major political and regulatory developments in the United States started shifting market sentiment in a much more bullish direction. President Donald Trump's latest move, ordering federal agencies and the Federal Reserve to review crypto access to payment systems, has completely reignited discussions around institutional adoption, blockchain innovation, and the future of digital finance in America. That alone has created a wave of fresh excitement across the market, especially around projects connected to utility, payments, tokenization, and early-stage momentum opportunities. At the same time, XRP news today continues dominating conversations among traders who are watching every new regulatory signal closely, while Chainlink remains deeply connected to the rapidly expanding tokenization narrative. But now another name is starting to enter the spotlight, much faster than many expected, and that project is APEMARS. Right now, APEMARS is becoming one of the most talked about pre-sales among traders searching for high upside opportunities before the next retail wave enters the market. The project is currently sitting at stage 21 of its structured pre-sale rollout, with the token price positioned at just $0.000416940, while the intended listing price remains set at $0.0055. What is creating serious urgency right now is the fact that only 13 days remain before the official launch countdown reaches zero. That shrinking window is starting to create visible FOMO across crypto communities, because traders understand exactly what happens in pre-sales when momentum starts building late in the cycle. Many investors have seen this story before, during previous meme coin and altcoin rallies, where early buyers gained massive advantages, while late traders ended up chasing momentum after launch. Now the market is watching closely to see whether APEMARS could become one of the next breakout stories emerging during this renewed wave of crypto optimism. What makes APEMARS different from many random meme token launches is the way the project has built a cinematic structure around its entire pre-sale campaign. Instead of depending only on hype and social media speculation, the project follows a 23-stage roadmap called Operation Red Banana. The roadmap is designed around the symbolic 225 million kilometer journey from Earth to Mars, with each stage acting like a mission checkpoint along the way. Every week unlocks a new stage, new mission updates, and fresh momentum for the community, creating a rollout experience that feels more organized and immersive than typical meme launches. That structure is becoming one of the main reasons traders are paying attention right now, because every passing stage pushes pricing higher, reducing the ability to enter at lower valuation levels. In crypto markets, urgency often becomes one of the biggest catalysts behind retail momentum, and APEMARS appears to understand that dynamic extremely well as the countdown clock continues shrinking day by day. The timing of all this is also important because the broader market environment is starting to improve again after months of uncertainty. Regulatory conversations inside the United States are shifting from aggressive restriction toward discussions around access, infrastructure, and fintech integration. That change in tone matters because large institutional firms have been waiting for clearer pathways before increasing blockchain exposure. Every time the market senses a more crypto-friendly direction from regulators or political leaders, liquidity starts rotating back into digital assets. We are already seeing renewed attention toward XRP because of its payment infrastructure narrative, while Chainlink continues gaining traction through real-world asset tokenization and enterprise blockchain integrations. In environments like this, traders usually begin rotating between established names and smaller early-stage opportunities, searching for projects that still have room for explosive upside. That is exactly why APEMARS is suddenly attracting much stronger visibility during this countdown phase. Another major talking point right now is the project's bonus structure, especially surrounding the Rocket 250 code that many traders are discussing online. At the current stage 21 price, a $1,000 purchase secures approximately 2,398,468 APRZ tokens before bonuses are applied. However, traders using the Rocket 250 bonus code receive an additional 250% token allocation, increasing the total amount to roughly 8,394,638 APRZ tokens. Based on the intended listing target of $0.0055, that allocation would carry a projected value of around $46,170 if the listing goal is eventually reached. Of course, crypto markets always involve risk and volatility, but numbers like these are exactly what create strong retail attention during pre-sale cycles. Investors constantly search for opportunities where small, early-stage entries could potentially produce oversized returns later if momentum accelerates after launch. That possibility is one reason many traders are now watching APEMARS extremely closely as the final countdown continues. What is especially interesting is how the psychology behind countdown-based pre-sales affects trader behavior. When markets are quiet, many investors hesitate and wait for confirmation before entering new projects. But once momentum begins building and time starts running out, fear of missing out becomes a major force inside crypto communities. We have seen this happen repeatedly during previous cycles, where projects initially received limited attention before exploding in popularity once launch windows started closing. The same pattern now appears to be forming around APEMARS, because the visible 13-day countdown creates constant pressure on traders who are still sitting on the sidelines. Every stage transition raises pricing levels, meaning delayed decisions can quickly become more expensive entries later. That dynamic is helping create steady engagement around the project, while market optimism gradually returns across the broader altcoin sector. At the same time, XRP news today continues pulling massive attention from traders monitoring regulation-driven narratives. XRP remains one of the most important digital assets whenever discussions around payments, banking partnerships, or institutional blockchain adoption begin heating up again. Right now, XRP is trading around the $1.35 to $1.37 range, while maintaining strong relevance across crypto markets. Much of the excitement surrounding XRP in 2026 revolves around Ripple's growing payment infrastructure, CBDC-related pilot programs, and ongoing speculation regarding future ETF developments connected to digital assets. Whenever major political or regulatory headlines emerge in the United States, XRP usually reacts very strongly, because traders immediately begin reassessing how future regulation could impact institutional adoption. That is why every new update involving financial infrastructure or blockchain access continues putting XRP directly back into the spotlight. Meanwhile, Chainlink continues strengthening its position as one of the most important infrastructure projects in the crypto ecosystem. Link has remained deeply connected to the tokenization trend, especially as major institutions explore blockchain-based settlement systems and tokenized asset markets. The project continues expanding through enterprise partnerships, infrastructure integrations, and developments tied to real-world assets. Recent attention around AWS marketplace integrations and blockchain regulatory technology partnerships has only reinforced Chainlink's role inside institutional crypto adoption conversations. Link is currently trading between roughly $9.65 and $10.50, while maintaining strong long-term relevance inside the market. What makes this important is the contrast developing between large-cap utility projects like Chainlink and speculative early-stage pre-sales like APEMARS. Traders are increasingly diversifying between established infrastructure tokens and smaller opportunities capable of generating larger percentage moves if momentum accelerates rapidly after launch. Another project quietly gaining attention is Presale, which is emerging inside the Web3 gaming sector with a very different approach compared to many traditional gaming tokens. Instead of relying on fixed token assumptions, Presale is introducing a dynamic supply ecosystem where actual participation influences token distribution mechanics. The project is currently operating through a whitelist phase, giving early supporters access to updates, ecosystem milestones, and launch-related opportunities before broader public exposure begins. As Web3 gaming narratives slowly regain attention, limited whitelist availability is starting to create urgency among users looking for exposure before launch momentum increases. This shows how the market is once again becoming interested not only in established coins, but also in experimental ecosystems connected to gaming, utility, and participation-driven blockchain models. The bigger picture here is that the crypto market appears to be entering another important transition period. For months, traders dealt with uncertainty surrounding regulation, inflation, liquidity, and institutional participation. But recent developments suggest sentiment may finally be shifting again toward cautious optimism. When confidence begins returning to crypto markets, capital usually rotates first into major assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum, before eventually moving deeper into altcoins, infrastructure tokens, and speculative pre-sales. That early-stage capital rotation is exactly why traders are closely monitoring projects like APEMARS during these final countdown days. They understand that once broader retail momentum fully returns, early-stage entries often disappear quickly as valuations begin climbing aggressively. One of the strongest aspects behind the APEMARS narrative is how clearly the roadmap has been communicated to the community. Crypto traders have become far more cautious over the years because of countless projects launching without structure, transparency, or visible progression. APEMARS is attempting to separate itself by providing fixed stages, visible mission updates, and a defined rollout timeline that investors can follow in real time. The Operation Red Banana theme may sound humorous on the surface, but the structured execution behind the campaign is helping maintain long-term engagement instead of relying entirely on random hype cycles. That consistent progression creates a psychological sense of movement, and in crypto markets, momentum perception often matters just as much as technical fundamentals during early launch phases. There is also growing discussion around how meme culture itself has evolved inside the crypto industry. Earlier meme coin cycles were dominated almost entirely by speculation and viral social media attention. But newer projects are increasingly combining entertainment branding with more organized rollout systems, gamified communities, and roadmap-based engagement strategies. APEMARS appears to be trying exactly that by blending meme-style branding with structured weekly progression and cinematic storytelling elements. Whether that strategy ultimately succeeds will depend on market conditions, community growth, and post-launch execution. But the current momentum surrounding the pre-sale clearly shows that traders are paying attention. In crypto, attention itself often becomes one of the most valuable assets, because visibility can drive liquidity faster than almost anything else during bullish periods. At the same time, traders remain highly focused on macroeconomic conditions and political developments because those external factors continue shaping overall crypto sentiment. President Trump's recent executive orders reviewing fintech and crypto access to payment infrastructure created a strong reaction because they signaled a more supportive tone toward blockchain innovation. Many investors now believe the United States could continue moving toward broader crypto integration instead of maintaining aggressive restrictions. Even though uncertainty still exists, the overall direction of policy discussions has become much more favorable compared to earlier periods when regulatory fears heavily pressured the market. That improvement in sentiment is one reason both large-cap and small-cap digital assets are starting to regain stronger attention from investors worldwide. As we move closer to the APEMARS launch deadline, the next several days could become extremely important for the project's visibility. Countdown-driven narratives often intensify dramatically during the final stretch because social media engagement, influencer coverage, and community discussions all begin accelerating simultaneously. Traders who ignored earlier stages sometimes rush back into the market once they realize launch timing is approaching much faster than expected. That behavior alone can create additional momentum as FOMO spreads across trading communities. Whether APEMARS eventually becomes a major breakout story or simply another short-term trend remains uncertain. But there is no question the project has successfully positioned itself inside one of the most closely watched conversations among pre-sale traders right now. The crypto market always moves in cycles, and experienced traders understand that momentum can return very quickly once sentiment changes direction. Right now, we are seeing several important narratives developing at the same time. XRP continues benefiting from regulation and institutional payment discussions. Chainlink remains deeply embedded inside enterprise tokenization infrastructure. Web3 gaming ecosystems like Presale are beginning to attract fresh attention again. And now APEMARS is building pressure through a countdown-driven pre-sale structure that is creating urgency across retail communities searching for the next speculative breakout opportunity. All of these trends together suggest the market may be entering a much more active phase after months of hesitation and uncertainty. So as traders continue asking what the best crypto to buy now might actually be, the answer increasingly depends on strategy, risk tolerance, and timing. Some investors prefer established utility-driven assets like XRP and Chainlink because of their institutional narratives and long-term infrastructure relevance. Others are searching for smaller projects capable of generating explosive upside if market momentum accelerates rapidly during the next bullish cycle. That is exactly where APEMARS is now positioning itself while the final 13-day countdown window continues shrinking. One thing is clear right now: The crypto market is no longer quiet. Sentiment is shifting again, and traders everywhere are preparing for what could become another major wave of digital asset momentum in the weeks ahead.